From sunrise to sunset, I can't stop hustling every minute, every second. Can't stop hustling from sunrise to sunset. I can't
What is
stop
up, everybody?
hustling.
You already know what it is. It's your bros coming live and in color, and we're gonna be talking about this little thing, what's called Money in the Bank. I'm followed here by Yellow Boy and Hogs Wars. How you boys doing?
Yeah. What's going on,
Yes,
party people?
yes. What is
Whoa,
going on indeed?
whoa. Doing all right, doing all right, doing all right.
We the ones.
Yeah, and we the
Yeah,
fives.
we're never the twos.
But you
Maybe a
know
three.
what though? We was talking about well before we started this show when we get hype and dipe. I mean, they did a good job with this one overall, top to bottom. It wasn't a pain in the neck to sit and watch, or at least in my opinion. I don't know how you boys feel about it, but I feel we had the similar opinion of the show. I think it did pretty good, man. And they got hot right off the cuff with it too, with the men's Money in the Bank match too. Y'all,
Yeah,
let's get y'all's thoughts on that.
particularly enjoy the fact that they do them on Saturdays and they're no more than 3 hours when they do these shows. They don't have a kickoff show that has a bunch of convoluted matches that have nothing to do with anything. They have their kickoff show, they have the show for 3 hours, and then they're done. Like Nick Khan has definitely did a masterful piece in rearranging these PLEs. Love it. And plus then I have my Sunday if I need to do stuff. And since this was a London show, it came on a whole lot earlier, which awesome. So, and the show was not that bad. But kicking it over to Hogs Wars, what you thought? What you think, man?
Well, duh, it didn't suck. But anyway,
Hey,
anyway, uh, good show. Didn't feel like a slog. You know, not to say anything bad about Forbidden Door, but Forbidden Door was 5 hours. You know, much as we love that show, it was 5 hours. 5 hours tough on a person. But that's us coming back from now when we used to be people in WrestleMania for 6 hours. So hey,
Mm-hmm.
so thank God that kind of common sense finally kicked in somebody's head. But anyway, uh, good match. Uh, they did a lot of. We're gonna tease that we think you gonna get somebody you want to win and not win at least 3 times, and then Logan Paul got destroyed every time he got close to something. So especially that spot, man, that was nasty. But with him and Ricochet when they were on the top rope and tried to go off the top rope and do a darn what's the word?
Oh, Spanish Fly.
Spanish fly off the middle of the ropes over the into a double two-legged tables. And Logan Paul's old back got scarred up a little bit. He was bleeding a little bit when it was over. But other than that, it's a pretty good match. It was entertaining, which is the whole point. So
but let me jump back beforehand just for those who don't know. Again, like OHB said, the first match was the men's Money in the Bank ladder match, and the participants was Ricochet, LA Knight, Santos Escobar, Logan Paul, Damian Priest, Butch, and Shinsuke Nakamura. Those were all the participants in that match. So I just wanted to throw that out there just before, so that anybody didn't know who was in it, or if somebody didn't watch it. Hopefully you did. They know who all the participants were. And just to piggyback off of Hogs Wars, see what I did there? Hogs Wars piggyback. Aha.
Mm.
But
Bro.
at the beginning of the match, everyone and throughout the match, everyone jumped on Logan Paul, which I thought was submitted or subverted what people thought, because there's two people that stood out in this match that everyone thought was going to win. One was Logan Paul, the other one was L.A. Knight. Yeah.
yeah,
So, but they all ganged up on Logan Paul, not once, but a couple of times throughout the match. Um, the crowd was super hot for LA Knight. Like he could do no wrong. It turned all the baby faces into instant heels within the match because anytime they went up against LA Knight, they completely went heel. The crowd booed, and I will say that the crowd was a big factor throughout this match, and or throughout the show, the entire show, because they played a part and made the show that much better. But OHB, what did you think about this first match?
Oh yeah, man, I was all for it, dude. Like you said, the crowd there, they were just super into it. It just goes to show you that, there is a presence or a fan presence everywhere in the world because everywhere they go that's not in the United States, they still get like that kind of welcome. So, yeah, man, I mean, other than I thought, I really thought they were going to pull the gun on a Mr. LA Knight, but I was glad with the outcome of it, man. Like, I mean, I think he deserved it, and I'm kind of interested to see. And for those of you, I mean, it's Damian Priest that ended up being the guy that clipped it off at the end after he yeeted L.A. Knight off the ladder,
Yeah.
and yeah, he gave him the whatever that maneuver. What was it? The broken arrow, I think. He broken
Yes.
arrowed him off of it, and then it was a wrap. And then he ended up doing that, which that would come into play a little bit later. But we'll talk about that when we get to that. Anyway, I don't know about y'all, but I'm done talking about that. I'm going to move right along. What was the
Gotcha.
next match?
Second match we had was the women's tag team championship match with
Oh,
Ronda Rousey, Shayna Baszler versus Liv Morgan and Raquel. Um, yeah, this match, I'll start off and then I'll kick it to one of you guys. But first of all, I wish that Liv got an opportunity to have a longer title reign and do some more solo wrestling or whatnot, but it's fine. They need to kind of make that women's tag division a little bit more concrete. And I do hope that I see that the tag titles go to NXT like they originally were supposed to since they unified them. Um, of note, it is of note. I know y'all talked about it while we were watching it, but I just want to make a correction on the outfits that Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler was wearing. I think Ronda was wearing a DBZ inspired, Dragon Ball Z inspired, but Shayna Baszler was wearing a Warhammer inspired because she's big about that Warhammer
yeah.
game or whatnot. So I think it's Warhammer inspired for her. But it's what you expect. Like again, Liv Morgan, crowd favorite. She had the Union Jack outfit on herself, and then of course Raquel has a back. I mean, what else can you say about her? She's got a back. That's her gimmick. But
Sir Mix-a-Lot even talked about it.
well, she ain't got as much back as Liv Morgan, but she has
Oh
a
no.
back. She has a back.
Y'all tell me.
Um, but Hogs Wars. No, I'm gonna go to OHB. I'm gonna let Hogs Wars go ahead and end it on now. OHB, what you think about this match?
Man, it was a solid match. Like I said, dude, I just have this negative stigma. Anytime there's any kind of matches, especially the ones involving the women, it's almost like the way they produce them. You're just like, come on, dude. This one though, it's obvious that Liv wants to try to get in there and do a lot more than they really want her to. That's why I kind of jokingly referred to her as the female Darby Allin because she gets in there and takes some bumps, son. But man, the thing I think was really the highlight for me was while we were watching it, Yellow Boy had like a look of shock on his face, and because of that, I'm gonna segue all this on over to our good friend Mr. Hogs Wars Wampler DJ number 3. Yo,
Rika, Rika. Yes, the best part about this match was the, as we like to say, swerve at the end. But of all people, Shayna Baszler just said, "You know what? I've had enough of you running around." And started jacking her up from
Basically,
behind, and then put it in her clutch. I'm like, "Whoa, hold on, wait, wait, wait!" And as soon as it happened, like it took me a minute to even register what just happened because I was like, "Wait a minute, how did she fall?" And then it's like, "Oh, shite!" So,
I like that little British segue on that curse there. That's
very,
pretty good.
very intrigued. I was, I know OSB was like, finally, man, she finally, took that step. I said, well, I mean, let's face it, she been a beast. She was a really big beast when she was in NXT. Then they kind of neutered her a bit, her and not, I mean, I'm about to say Nia Jax. I mean, but her and Nyla would go in there and destroy all these people. And now she's back to kind of like in between. I'm good. I'm tough. I'm not tough. I'm good. But you believe me. Blah blah blah. So it's nice to kind of finally take that long stride and say, "Hey, Ronda can't get over any other way. Let me knock her down. So maybe that'll help her get on her back the same way and bring me up a little bit." So of course she did that. left Ronda looking crazy, and then Liv and Raquel did their little move to finish her off and win the belt. You know, I'm not gonna lie, Ronda looked like she about broke her darn neck on that last move, but
Oblivion.
man, it was
Oblivion, yeah.
nasty. And they won the match, and everybody cheered. Ronda looked like she lost not only her best friend, but anybody that she cared about in life at that one moment in time. So can't wait to see what's gonna happen Monday on that one.
Yo.
I will throw out there, Hogs Wars. You had mentioned during the match, you had made the comment that Ronda is taking a whole lot more bumps this go around than she was the first go around, and just wanted to bring that up because of the finish after taking the Trachona bomb and then the Oblivion, and then having her land on her head on the Oblivion to really sell it that she got, because it was that moment, like everyone had that moment of shock. Like Liv and Raquel were looking like, okay, did this just happen? And Shayna walked out, and then they did their finishers in succession to get the win. And I believe didn't Liv get the pin?
Yeah.
She pinned Ronda.
Yeah.
So a little bit of reprieve for Liv to get that pin and have new tag team champions. They just reclaimed it, so they're 2-time tag team champions, which good on them. Again, hope they go to NXT, Raw, SmackDown, defend them, whatever. Because yeah. Anyway, I'm done.
They need a Orange Cassidy run with them belts, the workers titles.
Oh, they do. Good call.
What's up next?
Up next was there was a backstage interview with Kayla Braxton and Damian Priest, who she just asked who is he going to pass the Money in the Bank briefcase on, and he said that his options were open. And again, I'll leave that to later on for a later on match like OHB did. And after that, there was the Intercontinental Championship with the challenger Riddle versus the Intercontinental Champion and Imperium leader Gunther. So I'll kick it over to one of you guys. Hogs Wars, what do you think about this match?
Definitely didn't suck. One of the better matches of the night. Especially like the way Imperium came in, and I guess I hadn't really paid attention as much to how he loses his jacket at first, but that was really cool. How that Joker had that extracurricular spin move as it came off. That was pretty boss. I like that. Really liked the fact that Riddle really gave him a tough match. Both guys were like pretty pink by like the first 5 minutes of the match, from either Riddle kicking him and him taking chops. So it really sold the match. And then I really liked a lot of the fact that both guys were doing a lot of reversals. Both guys were not, really giving it a pretty tough shake, because they weren't just going at it. They were really going at like a really kind of top speed. If you really think about it, it's like they might have given them really 10 minutes. That's how it felt, because it was just boom, 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 boom. And they put as much energy and effort in that little match as, honestly, a lot of guys in the darn Money in the Bank match. And they had 6 of them jokers. So, to each his own. OHB.
I didn't care about this, really. No. I had to do it one time. No, this match, like we talked about it, they must have said before they went out there, hey, man, we're just going to go out here and blast the absolute crap out of each other. And they did that. But they did a good job segueing it back to where Gunther and them stomped out Riddle's ankle, because that would come into play. And my buddy got out there and started putting some smackdown on Riddle's ankle after he had him in a clutch. he had him in that single leg Boston Crab, and that wasn't getting the job done. So he turned around and started putting the hammer fist on his ankle that was injured, and then he slapped that single leg grapevine ankle lock on him. And it was a wrap. Riddle didn't even last seconds in that boy before he tapped out. And of course, retaining will be the ring general, baby. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a Tarantino dream, I think, watching that foot play going on throughout the Riddle. Like there was a moment where Gunther tore off the tape off of Riddle's foot a little bit and whatever, and like I said, he was smacking his foot. I'm like, yo, man, it's foot fetish or whatnot. You got to go.
I was so hot for that, baby.
Go to OnlyFans and get you a monthly subscription for that type of stuff, man. But I think the biggest thing that happened wasn't the match itself, it was post match. Because
Mhm.
after the match, we got a returning Drew McIntyre, who, for those who are in the know, he had been off of television since WrestleMania. He hasn't been on the show since WrestleMania because of the fact that allegedly there was some creative disputes backstage and he didn't like where his creative was going or whatnot. And I agree because they were moving him away from the IC championship, which him and Sheamus were making, that feud between them and Gunther really, really something special. So we got Drew McIntyre back, who came in, did a face to face with Gunther. Gunther pushed him. So, of course, he gave him a little kiss. That would be the glasses out kiss, that headbutt that Drew gave to Gunther, and then lined him up, counted it down, and give him that Claymore straight to the dome, and he raised the belt up, showing his intentions for the IC championship. So I guess that's where we're moving to next, seeing as how both men are on Monday Night Raw. Because if you remember, Drew McIntyre was drafted back to Raw during the draft, so they'll be able to have that feud. So good
And
to
I'd
see
add
Drew.
something in right quick. Go ahead, my boy.
No, you're good. I'm done.
I was just gonna say, like, one thing I did notice the way he came out. He didn't have that augmented reality big Claymore sword coming down when he came back. So here's hoping that he comes back like when he was Galloway in NXT and has like the whole trench coats, cut off sleeves, just absolute badassery thing that he has. That's my one.
Yep.
But yeah, so we'll see,
Yeah,
man. Hopefully that creative squabble has something to do with him not being stereotypical Scottish dude. Anyway, we can move along.
he's all man too. Let me tell you that. That is
Ah,
all
he's a
man.
man's man, dude.
Yeah, he
He's
is.
a
Look, all he has is.
man.
Look, when we were watching on stream, y'all, me and
Oh
we,
man.
we made it known that we had something for Drew McIntyre, but not in that kind of way
A
because
lovely man crush for real, for real.
I mean, you speak for yourself, dude. You
I
don't know
mean,
me. It's a new
look,
Negative.
time.
Negative.
look, my look,
Negative.
my shorts might have gotten a little shorter watching Drew McIntyre come out there, but
So I could have swore I bought a larger size boxer brief than I have on. What's up?
Man, I laugh so hard.
Yeah.
oh well. Moving on from that, we had the match that was reported earlier as possibly being the main event, and thank God that they didn't have it as the main event, which was All American Nightmare, or now the British Nightmare because of his outfit, Cody Rhodes versus ex-con Dom with Mommy. Oh, I hope to God they put Mommy in something else rather than just being the valet for ex-con Dom. Um, but I don't have much to say about this. I will say that the crowd was white hot for Cody Rhodes. Did exactly what WWE wanted: cheer for Cody, boo Dom, and kind of was in the middle with Rhea Ripley because Rhea Ripley is Rhea Ripley. And yeah, I mean, not the longest of matches. I think this was the shortest match on the entire card. But I'm curious to see what you guys thought about because again, I don't have much on it because it's what I thought it should be. But Hogs Wars, what did you think about the match? And
I think somebody black was doing Rhea Ripley's hair and every other lady on the show, but that's a whole nother story. Uh curls for days. Anyway,
got that so in.
man. I'm leaving. I'm stop. I'm be good. I'm stop. I'm be good. Anyway, match didn't suck. It is what it is. Dom did a lot of chicken stuff heel, kind of running in and out, kind of running away, and then Cody did his I'm Superman. Let me go rescue him and bring him back into the ring a couple times. But he did all his moves. He did the Oz Cutter. Ha ha! He stole it. Get over it. You know what I mean? and as we all expected, he finished him off with a pretty good. God, dog, why are my words leaving me today?
That
Yeah,
grilled cheese, baby.
man. Okay, get this out my system right now. if you have two grilled cheese and you sit and watch something in bed, you should not fall asleep. It should not happen. It's not the way life should be. But actually, my happy button was just like, you know what? This is pretty. Could have swore there was some itis in that mud. Hey, itis and grilled cheese. Anyway, back to what I'm talking about. But like I said, pretty decent match. No matter what people want to say, Dom has gotten way better in wrestling. His matches actually look way more believable. He looks like he actually knows what's actually going on now a little better, and he's taking direction way better. Because from the way the match goes, you can tell it wasn't on him. It was really on whatever Cody was trying to do to help him kind of build him up at the same time. So I liked it. Okay match, did what it needed to do. OHB.
Man, you're right. You put the bow on it. I don't really have anything else to add other than I do remember you having to change your shirt because you was drooling all over yourself because of Rhea Ripley. So, having said that, I've got you. He said like this. Oh.
Lies.
Yeah, no, that never happened. But yeah, that exactly right. Like I even made the comment that Dom really has leaned into that chicken ass heel role, and he does a good job with it. I just where do you go from here with him and Rhea for that matter? Because like I said, you eventually gonna have to split them up. I mean, they can't continue this on indefinitely. But yeah, I mean, you said everything that I could say about it, except I didn't have no grilled cheese, and I'm mad at that.
Too bad. You're too far away, Bo.
Just a
Yeah.
couple things I want to add on it. One, they did announce at some point during the show that on Monday Night Raw, Rhea Ripley is going to face Natty again, Natalia. Why? I don't know. I don't know if this is dipping into Natalia going nuts or doubting herself again or some kind of, I don't know. It's definitely not for me. And then the other thing that I was going to point out was it was interesting that someone interviewed Dominic, I believe, and it found out that his original plan was to go down to NXT. Like after the split between him and his father, he was planning to go to NXT and spend some time down there, which I don't see why he shouldn't at this point, since they have that
Right.
interchange with the main roster and NXT right now. So I mean, let him go down there, get him some reps in or whatnot, off TV, on TV, and you know that
Let
way,
him hone his craft.
yeah, let him be a little bit better. Because I made the comment while we were watching that his 619 is super slow, so it looks.
Terrible.
That's why I put it on 8 times speed so it looks normal to me.
There you go. There you
Hey, but
go.
I want to say one thing real quick about Natalia, and then we can move on. But to me, she's kind of like a gatekeeper, like Nyla Rose, if you see what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but like Rhea Ripley does not need that. But
No.
that's for a discussion for a different day. I guess we can move right along to the next.
So the segment after this was a complete surprise to everyone, us included. It was John Cena made an appearance in the
John
O2.
Cena.
Yeah. He came out, riled the crowd up, thanking the British fans for being British fans and everything, and then brought a good prospect up as far as making a petition to said British fans that WrestleMania be held in the UK, which long time coming, and we had a conversation about it as far as seeing as how AEW is putting on All in the UK and is almost selling out the Wembley Stadium. WWE is like, well, we have far more reach than these guys, so why can't we just do the same thing and have our biggest show of shows over here? Which there's so many markets, as we've seen with Backlash. There's so many other markets that really crave wrestling. Like it's just a good financial decision to go to these other places and hold these pay-per-views, and especially if you're going to get more money out the gate for it. Why not? But that happens. I'm just gonna go ahead and do this whole segment because it was really quick.
Yeah.
That happened. Then Grayson Waller came out, did
Boo.
Grayson Waller things, of course. Talked
Morgan
about
Wallen.
um, talked about John Cena. It looks like his foot is just about healed, so he doesn't have to just do the talk show segments on SmackDown anymore.
Real quick, he did do like a thing where he was reaching down and doing some little stretches showing that, if you
Yes,
remember. Yeah, but
Yeah,
anyway, go ahead.
coming out when he came out, he was just kind of showing that his ankle and stuff is now healed because there was a photo that was circulating online with him and Indy Hartwell. They're both on crutches and both had boots on or whatnot. So it looks like he's pretty much healed. But comes out there, we called it. We were like, as soon as he came out, we're like, he's about to eat an FUAA from John Cena when he came out. So, and that's what he did. It popped the crowd or whatnot because Grayson was being a heel. Brit UK doesn't need WrestleMania. Australia does. Yada yada yada. It gets an AA. End the segment. Whatever. We move to the next match. Unless anybody has anything else to say about that one. All right. So the next match was the women's Money in the Bank ladder match with entrance of Bailey, Io, Zelina Vega, Zoe Stark, Trish Stratus, and Becky Lynch. I'll throw it right on over to OHB. OHB, what you got on this match, my brother?
This match was absolute pandemonium. They went out there and killed it for a women's match. Having said that, people are gonna be like, "This dude hates women's wrestling." It's not that, dude. We've been groomed. The
You know you're not
WWE
here
in the
for it.
past, the WWE. No, until like Charlotte Flair and Becky and all them girls came up on the scene, they had not had a good track record with women's wrestling, and now, dude, they slapped this whole match was fire from the start to the finish.
Yes.
And my favorite high spot of the whole entire night, no joke, is when Becky Lynch hooked a handcuff that she got put on her hand into Bailey's mouth while they were on the ladder. And I said, "Oh my God, she got that other part of that handcuff in her mouth, hooking her in the side of the face." I was like, "That's dope. That's hardcore, and that's why she's the man." But I ain't talking no more about it because that's all I'm going to divulge to the people, and I'm going to pass it on over to the Lord of the Hogs, Wars himself, baby. Yeah, what you think about that, grilled cheese daddy?
Hey, it did not suck, that boy. But anyway,
No, yo, yo.
but anyway,
Real cheese daddy.
definitely loved the match.
GCD.
Definitely thought Selena Vega almost killed that poor girl when she did basically like a Canadian destroyer onto their ladder. Oh man, I felt so bad for her. But the way the match ended was awesome. It really was. So you got Io Sky trying to go up the ladder, and then all of a sudden you just see it fall, and then the camera somehow kind of sneakily shows Bailey just sitting there looking like did she do something? Did she not? That old we'll never know BS. So Bailey starts getting it up, and here comes the man, still having these little cuffs on her hand, and Bailey on the other side. And they're both going at it, going up and down, and you're like, who's gonna get it? Who's gonna get it? So Io wakes up, and it's like a three-way kind of thing. Who's gonna do what? And all of a sudden, Io takes the cuff on one end that was already connected to the man on the other end and hooked it to Bailey's arm in between, stuck them together, climbed over Bailey, and won the darn briefcase. And I was just like, nice, very nice, very nice. Hand clap deserved. Um, very good. I did like the showing that Trish and all them on the sideline did. They did a really good job of keeping everybody kind of up, beating the pace. Did a lot of spots that got the crowd into it. But overall, good match.
Yo.
Well, you leave me with hardly any scrap to talk about there, brother.
Hey, but
Hey,
there's one
hey,
spot you were super
ain't
hot
it
for, and I
nice?
was
Ain't it
leaving that
nice?
for
Ain't it
you.
nice?
I have to quit letting you go second. I'm gonna have to jump in there and go second, and let you go last. You be taking up
I
all the
know.
crap. I be
Be
eating.
eating
I
all the
can't with
grilled cheese, be eating up all the good spots and all the story. Man,
But there were some
dude.
spots that you missed
You're
out
welcome.
of there because we talked about Zelina Vega being, and we're not going to use this term, but she's the SM, where she does a lot of spots in the match, which she did. Like and not to make it sound funny because it's going to sound funny, but she's very given of her body during these matches,
Yeah,
like
that's true.
all the time. She
Yo.
she will let you know she will throw her body into all kinds of positions and stuff. It sounds funny, but of course it's a
That's
dance,
what she
wrestling. You know what I mean? So
Hogs
um,
Wars hot for it. That's all good.
said. You ain't lying, but not as much as Rhea. Sorry, had to get that up and system.
oh
Go on,
Lord.
keep
But
on, keep
anyway, there were some
Hey,
spots like my goodness, the number one that that sunset power bomb from the top of the ladder from Zoe Starks or from Zelina Vega to Zoe Starks just about killed Zoe Starks because
Could
her
have been
head got
bad.
caught into the rung of the ladder as the ladder fell down because they did one of those spots where the ladder was positioned in the middle of the ring and they had one set up on the second row into the ladder that's standing up, and they did the whole sunset flip spot, power bomb spot. Looked brutal, looked awesome. I say this match did a couple of things. One, it elevated the winner, Io Sky, because she did her moonsault from one of the largest ladders that they had onto all the women. Like there was a shot that they had, kudos on the production team, where Io had climbed to the top of the ladder and she was at face level with the Money in the Bank briefcase, and then she does the moonsault off of it. Great shot. Looked good. Made Io look like $1,000,000. Then also it elevated, for those who never followed Zoe Stark in NXT, it made Zoe Stark look, why is she with Trish? This is why she's with Trish, because she's a competitor. She can hold her own in the ring and everything. I love Trish. She has her flaws. I'll just say that. She has her
Yeah.
flaws. And some of this kind of exposed some of those flaws, but it's okay because it's like a 6-woman ladder match. So a lot of women spent time outside the ring, outside of that spotlight. So it gave everybody their purpose. And it also, what this match also did was put that element of a wedge. Like this whole show,
Yep.
I think the whole theme of this show was, what can I say?
Diversity and between or like dissension in the ranks.
That part, dissension in the ranks, is the greatest way to put it. Dissension in the ranks is this whole show because there were moments where a moment where Io was climbing the ladder and Bailey pushed the ladder over. And of course, as Hogsworth said, the finish was Io Sky handcuffing Bailey and Becky together into the ladder as she climbed over everyone to win the Money in the Bank briefcase while all the other ladies were outside. So it was a really good match just to kind of tie it in a bow. Great match. Great out. Right person won. Right people won both Money in the Bank
Yep.
briefcases. And thank God um, there was no other women's match that they could have Io go and cash in on immediately because I
Right.
think they need to hold on to it for some time. So good stuff. Any last words on this match?
Yeah, man, I want to go real quick back to your Trish Stratus thing. You got to think she came up in that era of wrestling that I was talking about. So
Yeah.
she did a good job with this, and she was carried on some of the stuff, and then the spot she hit is exactly what everybody wanted. So I think she included that, star power in that, like that
Yeah.
old school that, the people remembered. Because, like the last time anything was in London was, 20 something years ago.
10 years
So
ago. Nostalgia pop.
yeah, so that worked. I mean, yeah, that's all I have to add to that.
Awesome. Yo. So the penultimate match was Finn Balor versus Seth Rollins for the WWE World Championship. And man, as advertised, like for the past few weeks, all Finn Balor has been doing is running down Seth Rollins. Wherever Seth Rollins is, whether it's on Raw, whether it's on a house show, whether it's on NXT, Finn Balor has tried to make Seth Rollins' life a living hell for the 7 years he's wanting back from, getting the championship taken away from him and everything. And this match was a war. And I mean, it kind of paced itself differently. To me, it paced itself differently than some of the other frenetic, fast paced action on the match. It kind of built itself, to that crescendo where it's like, oh, snap, you know. And I mean, a lot of the psychology was built around Seth Rollins having the injured ribs because he had the tape on and everything, and Finn kind of took that as a bullseye, went after those ribs, and made that a priority as far as his attacks. But enough of me talking. Hogs Wars, what you got on this match, brother?
Another good match. Definitely didn't suck. Uh,
Yo.
I have to admit, Seth Rollins tape looked like somebody on a green screen decided to mark out a part of his belly or something like that. Like they messed up and wrote the wrong thing on there. So that was popping me every time I looked over there. Like, hey, what next? What did they hide on you this time? But other than that, it was a good match. It like we always say, it did what it needed to do because it stayed entertaining, but it wasn't boring, and it helped keep the flow going. And since I've been taking the spotlight so long on these ends, OHB, go ahead and finish this one off this time, buddy.
I'm gonna finish this off, baby. I don't care, man. Let's go on to the nah. So, ah, yeah. Let's wait till you
Almost
took a
got
drink.
him a spit take.
Dang, dude, got that big old glass of Kool-Aid. Hey, baby. What you got in there? Lemon lime. Hey, but no joke. So, going
Sorry.
back to the whole thing we was talking about, the dissension in the ranks thing. So Finn Balor was really working Seth Rollins' ribs over, even so much to the fact that he had two coup de grace on him outside of the ring, and they were nasty brutal. Goes to throw him back in. Well, at this time, Damian Priest had came out, teasing the potential cash in or whatever. He comes out, sits at the ringside. Does something though. As soon as Finn goes to hit the final death blow and he stands up, and Finn looks over, and is like, "What are you doing, dude?" Just enough time for when he jumps off, Seth gets out of the way and then hits a curb stomp for the win. And that just teases a little bit of further. Kind of they're building this little animosity between Finn and Damien anyway. So I think that's going to be a very interesting Monday Night Raw. But your winner and retains is Seth. Does whatever he can with all the crap gimmicks he's given. Rollins, baby. Yeah.
And post match, they made sure to put Finn and Damien on camera as they bickered. What are you doing and such like that. I mean,
Yup.
further in that, like I said, I think for me, and then I'll jump to the last match. Judgment Day has done what it needed to do. It,
Yup.
it elevated Priest because now Priest is the Money in the Bank holder. It's elevated Dom a little bit because Dom was just dead in water after he broke up with his dad. And Rhea really helped add a lot of energy to that group. And Finn needed a group and he needed something to push and show that he still got it, even though he's always had it. And Vince never, in my opinion, Vince never believed that he had it. Vince gave up on him too easily. So I think it's done and run its course as far as Judgment Day, and it definitely the direction that it took after it left from Edge's iteration way better. Because when Edge had it, it was just House of Black, Great Value version, or House of Purple. you
Timu.
know, so
Wish.com. House of
yeah,
Black.
yeah, House of Purple.
Temu.com.
Yeah,
We're not affiliated, but y'all can be.
Stranger things.
But anywho, last match on the show, which right call, right match for the last the main event. It was the right before that. Sorry. There was a segment with KO and Sami Zayn in the skybox, and Kayla earning her keep. Kayla went up there to interview them, and they pumped the crowd up or whatnot for the match that's about to happen, the main event, yada yada yada. And the thing led into the main event. Main event, Civil War match: the Usos versus Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa with Paul Heyman on the outside. Cinema. I mean,
Yo.
I know we're all going to each say something a lot about this match. We're going to have like great things to say. This is cinema. This is the best thing that's going on in wrestling, in my opinion, right now. It seems like it's on the downtick. I mean, it can't last forever. Nothing lasts forever. But this match, this storyline, I mean, played to a T. All the players involved are doing their job. The match helped accentuate that storyline and just great. So anyway, I'm gonna kick it over to OHB. OHB, what do you got for the main event, my brother?
Buddy, it was hard hitting from the get go, son. And like Roman Reigns really leans into that heel whenever he's over there. And they finally, at one point in time, the whole crowd was chanting, "Stand up if you hate Roman." And he's telling everybody, "Shut up, sit down," and this and that. But he caught a little bit of an L right off the cuff. And then Paul Heyman said, you want your children to be eating at his table because that's what they're trying to do, and that changed the whole complexion of how Roman, of course, Solo's doing solo things. He wasn't phased at all. He was just kind of like, man, what are you doing? Like, we got to get our head in the game. We're gonna lose, Tribal Chief. And yeah, man. And then after that, it became the Elevate Jay Uso show, man. Because like, dude, like Jimmy got in there and got his licks in, but it was really Jay, being main event Jay. Like the whole thing with the bloodline come around full circle. I know it's starting to slow down, but it's been an absolute blast of a run on all fronts, and I'm super hyped for it to see where it goes and how they end it. But having said that, I'm gonna pass it on over to the Spotlight King, Mr. Hogs Wars. Yeah,
Grilled cheese master, baby.
Hey man,
GC. Yeah.
got the 3 cheese that you need. Flip it up. Anyway.
Got that grilled cheese drip. Go woo on a beat.
Nice.
Gotta get that tomato basil soup, Dick. Yeah. Anyway,
Yo, yo.
but once again, match did not suck, did not disappoint. Man, the way they tell stories right now in facials and heck, there's at least
Yeah.
3 times where like Roman thought he had to win, and you just see his face when the guy says 2, and he's like,
Yeah.
just I'm so impressed with their ability as family to make this, you know, theme become so great. Because I mean, think about it. Even with the addition and subtraction of Sami Zayn, it's still really about what they're doing with each other, and love it, man, love it. Especially the Usos, and it's kind of like, I don't want to say redemption, but kind of like the evolution, if you will, because remember when they first came in, they were real white meat baby face, a real, catered to, Vince McMahon's idea of what the Usos should be, into the Uso penitentiary, we're the hardest guys on the set type thing, to now, and just love it. I really, really do. And normally I probably wouldn't say the rest of this, but I really believe this is Yellow Boy's bag right here. So Yellow Boy, I'll let you finish it off.
You're so
Um,
selfless, dude.
That's what kind of guy he is.
Yeah, he's that dude, man. He's a hero of all zeros. The Hogs
He
Wars
is
martyr.
he is the general of the Hogs Wars. He is
Yeah.
the man, the myth and the legend. But listen, when I say that the last third of this match went in hard, there was they worked over Jimmy Uso a lot during this match, and it did the whole tag team trope of cutting off the corners and the desperation tag only to miss it because someone got pulled down off the apron and that kind of deal. So it built up the hot tag to main event Jay Uso, and it still led on longer than what you would think that a normal third of the end of the third match, or excuse me, last third of the match would last. And like there was a spot where Solo Sokoa had set up Jimmy on the outside on the announce table and was going for a splash and absolutely brained himself on the table and took himself out. Um,
For the
and then
state.
right, and then it led
Stay.
to like an amazing sequence. Like there was a sequence in there. There's so much. Go back and watch this match. If you haven't watched it, go back and watch this match. It's one that you want to go out of your way and watch. But there was the moment where, like, there were so many false finishes and kickouts. You thought that Jimmy and Jay were out because they were like, OHB had made this point when we seen the start of this match to say that the referee, he said that referee looked familiar. And he was like, oh snap, that's the referee that always takes a bump in matches. And he was like, yeah, he's probably going to end up taking the bump. And, and he, sure enough, he took one. And there was a moment where the Usos, they were going to get the pin. They did their 1D, no referee. And then, of course, the upper hand was made by Roman and Solo, where they did a beautiful tag team maneuver of the spear and spike all in one was dope. And then magically the referee comes up as they're stacking both Usos to get the pin. Kick out, both of them kicked out, like amazing. There was the spot where, like I said, there was the sequence where there was a super kick. Then Roman got he shot off the ropes, did a Superman punch, which shot Jay off the ropes for another super kick, which shot Roman off the ropes to do a spear. Like that was an amazing sequence. And even still, like you thought that Jay was there, like, all right, this is it. I guess Roman's gonna win. Gets the pinfall. There was a moment where the way that Roman laid over Jay for the pin, and he got the 1 and 2, and then there was a kick out. But what wasn't noticed at first was the kick out, the shoulder getting popped up was actually Jay hitting Roman with a low blow at the same time. Hits him with a low blow, which indicative of what happened throughout the bloodlines kind of lineage where they would assist Roman themselves by doing low blows and stuff like that on folks for Roman to keep his belt, yada yada yada. It again, tremendous storytelling. Like barely seen the low blow. Roman selling it. You get the stuff on the outside that I talked about, the hot tag with the Usos getting the super kick, then the big splash from Jey Uso to Roman for Jey Uso to get the pinfall over Roman Reigns to win the match and win the Civil War. So, like, I can't say enough about this match. Perfect placing, put it on at the main event. Dope match. I don't know where you go from here. I mean, I'd like to get y'all's input. Where do you go from here? Hogs Wars, where do you go from here with the Usos and Roman Reigns?
Well, there's only one place to go, and I mean it sounds probably shocking, but it's time for the family to come together, and it's time for all the dads and all the old school guys to say, you know what, now we need to come in and say, okay, this is where it's gonna go, because that can build to that final, you know, Jimmy versus Roman, and that it could be SummerSlam, it could be anything, where it's that final kind of confrontation to lead to whatever Roman's gonna go to finally finish everybody else off. You know what I'm saying? So that we all be like Roman's the champion in 2027 or something like that. But anyway, um, it's just it seems like the next shoe to drop is Solo either saying "F this, I'm gonna go on my own," or somehow, some way, it's finally like Jay's turn to take over, and he all of a sudden becomes the tribal. So whichever side that goes, it's gonna be really interesting to see how they layer it up to that point. OHB.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's pretty much the bow on it. Like, I don't need to really bring much more other than I feel like a few of the facials that Solo had towards Roman, they're gonna have a discussion about it. And I think it's gonna go along the lines of like you always say, everybody else let you down, well, you let me down. So we'll see. That's not really in his character or the way they've portrayed him, but I can see that going down. And long story short, Roman's going to eat a spike at some point in time. I believe that's going to happen. But then I don't know if that's going to be a unification between him and the Usos or what, or like you said, Hogs Wars, he goes out by himself. But yeah, man, they put the bow, like they like perfect storytelling, man, this whole run.
OHB, do you see anybody immediately that's going to be able to beat Roman for the tag belts? Like anybody within this feud or anybody in general that's going to be able to beat Roman for the championship?
Not really, but it's going to definitely come because of his lack of having backup. So it's going to be, and it might be even the Usos play a part in him losing that title, and it's going to be to whoever does that's going to have really accomplished something. I just hope it's not one of those real, Orange Cassidy style opportunity type things. It needs to be somewhat that you could believe could beat Roman, but he has that windfall, just like Gonzalez and Liv did, and then they capitalize on it. So yeah, I think there's going to be somebody out there, but just who that person is, I don't know. I mean, they might even revisit the Cody thing again. I don't know yet. It just depends on what happens with him and potentially Brock down the road. But yeah,
Right. Right.
Yeah, that old Bork laser guy. So,
Work laser. Yeah.
Bork.
So if I were to rate this, I would say this is definitely a 4 out of 5, a high level four, maybe even 4.5 out of 5. Uh, PLE for me. I don't know where it sits with you guys. What do y'all think? Where does it
Yeah,
sit?
I give it that, man. There wasn't any kind of downtime, and even the palate cleanser match leading to the final match was a dope. So I just didn't feel I felt entertained from start to finish.
Yeah. Oswald, you agree?
like I always say, it didn't suck. So hey,
Yo,
all that matters. As long as it didn't suck, I can care less. So
Well, before I kick it back over to you, OHB, I got to do my plug. So, listen, ladies, gentlemen, boys, and girls, if you're watching this, we appreciate you. Make sure that you go down into the description below and look at the link tree. Find us on all of our social. You're here on YouTube. Also, find us on Instagram. We also have TikTok. We have our individual pages. Go check that out. We have Twitch, where I myself and Hogs Wars will stream WWE 2K23. I've started to stream Fight Forever. Eventually, OHB is going to get on there. He's kind of working through some things with a couple of games he's got in the lab, so he may be on there working something with you guys. Go make sure you check out, since you're here on YouTube anyway, go check out those Sips and Mad Dog Mondays that OHB does. He puts a lot of love and care into those beer reviews. So if you want to know something about a beer, like including the one that he has in his hand, maybe, um, go and check that out. There's a playlist. He has all of the old ones that he's done on that playlist. Go check it out. For serious, go check that out, because it gives you a lot of information on beers that you see in your stores and maybe you're interested in, but don't necessarily know if it's going to be you or not. Go check it out. Entertaining guy. Also, Shot of Brew, where I do news stories. There's a playlist for that. Unfortunately, right now, because I'm recovering from surgery, I'm not sure if I'm going to do one in the upcoming future until I get somewhat sorted with my recovery. But to kind of take take up for that, I will probably tomorrow do some AEW Fight Forever at the time frame that I normally post, which is around 8 o'clock Central Time, 7 or 8 Central Time. So go check that out with that. And I think that's all the plugs that I have. I'm done. Sorry.
Hogs Wars, you got anything to plug, dude? Besides grilled cheese sandwiches?
Yo.
and Swaggerty sausage, no kidding. but
Oh, he's done changed up his alliance.
I
Hey,
know, right? No more Wamplers. But anyway, you know, check me out on socials. I'm on the IG. I really want to get a few more little Twitch streams in. Usually I'm about like 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So, come check me out. Uh I've got to figure out how to get this Twitch thing going on the PS5, man. See if we can get this Final Fantasy 16, maybe some God of War Ragnarok, just some different
Nice.
things that you know won't be so MLB the Show based. Because I mean, I like playing baseball on there, and there's a lot of different things we can do on there that I haven't really gone into that section of. Because sometimes I'll be phrase quitting, but I know that's what some people like to see. So, but yeah, just check us out, man. Like Yellow Boy said, link tree in the bio. Just check it out.
yo,
OHB.
man, I'm everywhere and nowhere at the same time. You can see where I'm at on all the socials and everything on the link tree. That's the best way to tell you. But I am at Over Here Boy on Xbox, everywhere except your mama's house, because I don't be doing that no more in my older life. But do check out the sips and stuff. I try to be entertaining. I try to tell you a little bit about the beer. And some people say, "Well, you rate beers a little too high," but it's my opinion. That's how it goes down. Some things may be surprising to you, and then some things I just don't like, and I'll tell you why I don't like it. But yeah, you should check all that stuff out. And you know, if I do some Twitch gaming, it's gonna probably be Diablo 4, and maybe you know, I might throw some old school Fire Pro Wrestling World in there for those of y'all ain't never seen that. Just to have a little something different to Yellow Boys 2K and Fight Forever. But yeah, I'm done talking about all that stuff, as you would say in the end. And I'm not going to cheers this because I don't do that. It's a Mad Dog Monday for me, baby. Yeah. No cheers for the beers. And I don't know, boys. I guess we're out. Yay.
Hey, as we always say, we love you.
We love you.
We're out.
And we are out. You know what, guys?
From sunrise to sunset, I can't stop